Hey guys, it's Christina here and I want to do a quick video for you guys. I did try to film this last night, no, two nights ago, like really late at night, and the video quality was not good because I tried to do it on my laptop so I could quickly like upload it to you, but the quality was just really bad. Like the sound was just really bad. Like the screen was dark but okay, but it was just not right. But I'm so sorry that it's been like 2 weeks since I posted. It's because my brother's actually, he already left now. He already left for college and it's like really far, and I just had to get things ready for him. So I just wanted to do like kind of a new series sort of thing, basically like tips for college. And I know I've planned and wrote little notes to myself for a while now, but I'm gonna finally do at least one video and let's see, just see how it goes. So this video is gonna be 5 tips for college, and it's gonna be the money edition. So let's just get it started. Okay, so the first tip I'm gonna talk to you guys about is setting a food budget. Now looking back, I think I spent most of my money on food. I think at one point it was up to like maybe $200 a month, and that was just a no-no. Especially the time when I did have a meal plan and stuff like that, because I would eat out with my friends and such, and it just like built up, you know. And meal plans are very important in college. I do recommend it, especially for freshmen, because it helps you not worry about what you're gonna eat, and the food is already prepared. You just have to get there. I think you do save a lot of money and time as well by doing so. Now going to the cafeteria, it might, get tiring after a month or two, maybe even a week or two, because you'll be seeing the same old people, the same type of food, and it just, you just want something new sometimes, and you're hungry for like different foods around campus, like all the restaurants and stuff, but I think it's a great way and an excuse, or whatever you want to call it, to go and meet new people and just hang around with your friends. Because I used to, the first school that I went to, I would go there for lunch or dinner or whatever and stay there for longer than I expected, because I'll start eating and then be with my friends, and then some of them will leave and then new people will come and join us and stuff like that, and the conversations will keep on going, and I just spend most of my time there. So I guess that's also a con, but at the same time a pro, because you get to see all your friends in one place instead of trying to meet up with them, because trying to meet up with your friends can be a little bit hard, especially if you're trying to meet your high school friends, because all your schedules are different. But let's get back to the food. But yeah, so food wise, I think I spent a lot of money. And when you're thinking, oh, then I could cook for myself, if you're in one of those dorms that only have one kitchen on each floor or every 2 floors, it is kind of hard to cook what you want, especially being Asian and Korean. I have some smelly foods that other people might not like. Did I say that right? Might not like, because of the smell and stuff, and that's normal and it's okay. Because I might not like what other people are cooking as well, and it's just hard to have all the supplies with you in a small dorm room as well, like all your kitchen tools. And once you start buying the food, especially the vegetables, they start to go bad really quick, because when you buy the food from the nearby groceries, you'll want to buy all this stuff when you're shopping for them, but once you bring it back home, and then after a while you will start getting tired and be lazy, so you'll be like, oh, I'll cook that next time and stuff like that, and your food will go bad, and that's just a bad thing. If you really want to cook some meals in your room or on the kitchen, on your floor or something, then I would really recommend kind of junk food that you can kind of cook, that you can kind of mix things up with sauce, like maybe a can of tuna or some sausages, or some meats, especially because or canned foods because they are easy to cook and you need only like 2 or 3 sauces really, and they don't really go bad if you have a freezer in your own room or a freezer that you can use. I do recommend having a small fridge that has also a freezer, maybe like 2 separate ones, because the one that's like really small don't really fit that much. So buy a freezer that's in a fridge. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would buy if you really think that you'll need one. And you can just share with your roommate, discuss, because I believe you get to discuss things, what you want to bring with your roommate before school starts, so you'll be able to, you know, talk about like what appliances would you need. So I would recommend having maybe a fridge and maybe one microwave, so you both can share, or you can share yourself if you think you have like smelly foods that other people won't like. So yeah, but food is a very big deal in college, and I hope you do set up a budget, like maybe go, you know, plan to go out maybe once or twice only per week, instead of going out like every day. And don't forget, you might have the freshman 15. Freshman 15 is basically the idea that freshmen, when they come to school, they'll gain 15 pounds their first year because of all these food that you will intake, whether it's from free events, or when you're going out to eat with your friends, or from going to the cafeteria. All you want, basically an all-time buffet at your school. So setting a food budget, as well as any other budget that you can think of, is a good idea. I know it could be tedious writing down what you spend and stuff like that, but it really helps you organize where your money goes in college. So second tip will be books. Books take the second most, I believe, out of your food, your money budget from college. And books can add up to maybe $500 to maybe even $1,000 per semester. You just have to be careful where you get your books. Now I go to abebooks.com, which will be in the description below. I'll put a link there, because on their website, I believe they list all the book prices from where you can get it. Like if eBay is cheaper than Amazon or campusbooks.com or something like that, they'll list you like all of them, of like what order, and you could go from like least to highest price and most used to decent and whatever. They also do list borrowing books. Now buying books, I also want to compare buying and borrowing books, because in my opinion, I think buying a used book online is cheaper than borrowing or buying text around your campus bookstores or in the on-campus bookstore. Because first of all, borrowing, you can save a lot of money, especially if you think the books will change the next year and that no one would want to purchase your book. That does happen quite often because professors change up their books. It's sometimes a requirement for professors to change the book every year. It's just a school requirement. I guess they kind of get some incentive or something from book companies or publishing companies to do that. Some professors like, you don't really have to get it, but I do have to tell you to get it. You know, I had instances like that. And then sometimes I would have instances where they'll tell you to buy like a print off like book that the professor made from like the print store and stuff like that. So it depends on what your school is asking for, but I think buying a used book online is cheaper because you get to sell that book. So when you spend like maybe $100 for example on a used book, you might be able to get $50 back from that. But if you borrow a book, let's say it's $50, then that $50 actually goes away. So I guess you can choose or like try to compare the prices of buying a used book to borrowing and which one you would save more, because I feel like borrowing book you also have to think about who to ship it to and stuff like that. And I guess that goes with buying too, if you're especially if you're trying to sell your book online. But they do probably have Facebook pages from your school that the students made up for students and themselves, like to sell and buy books like on a Facebook page or something like that. So that's really common. So if you don't know about it, you should try looking for it, for that on Facebook, because there's a lot of that up there, or maybe even a Craigslist from your town or something like that. Just look around and try to, you know, maybe even talk to some of the upperclassmen, which you will probably meet in a few of your classes or whatnot, or from organizations that you'll join, of where they get their books for the cheapest and most decent. So I think that's a good tip to give you guys for saving money. So the third tip is gonna be credit card limit and the use of cash. So I think you should set a credit card limit, kind of like how you did the budget, because you'll know like how much you should spend. You know, you'll give yourself like basically an allowance for yourself of how much you'll be spending on your credit card. Now, I said using cash because sometimes you want to just have cash with you. I know you should always have some for emergency, but if you are maybe one of those people that might, you know, take advantage of using a credit card, then, you know, keep away your credit card really far from yourself and use cash, because then once you open up your wallet, you'll be like, oh my god, I spent all my money, now it's time to save for the next a week or two, because sometimes, you know, it can be scary to start using your credit card, because you'll, you know, try to just spend it and stuff like that, and then you'll realize, oh my god, you're in debt later on, you know. But at the same time, I do want to talk about the next tip, but before I do that, just summarize tip number 3 and say that you should give a limit to your credit card by calling to your credit card company and saying that I only want to spend this much, and maybe they also have a program where they warn you of how much you spend before that limit is exceeded. So now going on to the 4th tip, it will be time to build credit. Now, credit cards are used for you to build your credit, and I think the best time for you to start building your credit is either like your senior year in high school, maybe when you're 18, because I think that's the minimum age you can apply for one, without being under your parents' name or your guardian's name. So I think that's very important, and I think you should think about making a credit card if you haven't already for your you're in college, because that's when you can build your credit, and building your credit is very important, and that's why it's important to pay your bills, your credit card bills or whatever bills, on time, because your credit score will be lowered if those payments aren't made. Now, I did take a like a seminar, or like I went to a conference where they talk about credit and credit score and stuff like that, and they told me that as long as you pay the minimum payment for each month, you won't have damaged your credit score. But you have to also be careful that will mean that you have to pay more the next month. So the interest will be put on the amount that you owe from the previous month, and it will be added to the next month, and that tends to build up. You then have to look at the APR percentages from your credit card. So I would start looking into maybe having a credit card and building that credit up. But I guess for tip number 3 and 4, I would talk to your parent about it, or parents about it, to see what's the best option for you. Maybe you still do need to be supervised under your parents' name or something like that, like a joint account with them. And if you don't know what I'm talking about still, just talk to your parents or someone who's older than you who already had a credit card or has a credit card. So the last and final tip will be bring most things needed from home. I know it's tedious and very bulky to bring things with you to college, and you would want to buy all the stuff there, but if you already have things at home that you can bring, or if there's like a little bit of room that you can fit in your car, or a little room in your bags that you can fill up, then bring things from home, like toothpaste or your hairbrush, I don't know, like things like a mirror even, or a nightstand or something like that. I would say bring it from home if you can. If you already have room and if you're already bringing your car and stuff like that, I would say bring most things from home, because you'll save a lot of money at the end, because when you go to your dorm or your new place, then you'll want to like start decorating your room. But it's not really necessary for college students who are there to really study and get their good grades while in college. I know there's competitions where they tell you to decorate your dorm room or whatever and you get a prize. It is tempting, but it's not really necessary, and just figure out what is more important to you in college. If you do want to decorate, there are some ways you can decorate without spending that much money, like DIYs, and just working it out with your roommate or roommates. Just figure out who's bringing one, like I mentioned before, who's bringing the microwave, who's bringing the fridge, who's gonna bring the toaster, the coffee maker, or maybe the mirror even. You don't have to really share the mirror and whatnot. I'm not saying you should like share like hairbrushes, because that's personal stuff that you might or might not want to share with each other. But I would say that I save more money, like even food, if you are able to go home often than other people, then I would say bring food from home that you can cook, or already cooked foods, or things that are like seasoned and whatnot. Put in a Ziploc bag, put in the freezer, and then bring it to your dorm room and cook that up, because it just saves you a lot of money, and you would be able to have some home cooked meals that your mom made for you at school. But I do understand that not everyone live close to their place, and sometimes it's from like California to New York, vice versa, and even sometimes out of the country. But just be careful of what you think is important, what is actually important to bring to school.